Have you ever found yourself staring at your phone, trying to make sense of a vague text from your avoidant ex? Or maybe they suddenly liked an old photo of yours on social media, leaving you wondering if it meant anything or nothing at all. It's a roller coaster, isn't it? One minute, they're distant and unavailable, and the next, they drop a breadcrumb of attention your way. This confusing behavior isn't random. Avoidants have a tendency to test the waters before deciding if they're ready to reconnect. These tests are subtle, indirect, and often frustrating if you don't know what's really going on beneath the surface. The truth is, avoidants aren't as emotionally detached as they appear. Beneath their calm exterior lies a complex mix of fear, hesitation, and longing. They want connection, but are terrified of what it might cost them, whether that's their independence, emotional safety, or even their pride. Testing you is their way of feeling out the situation without fully committing to vulnerability. Today, we're going to dive deep into why they do this, the hidden meaning behind their actions, and how you can respond in a way that not only passes their unspoken tests, but also rebuilds trust and connection. To understand why avoidants test you, it's important to step into their emotional world. Avoidants are deeply protective of their independence and often feel overwhelmed by the demands of emotional intimacy. After a breakup, this tension becomes even more pronounced. On one hand, they may feel the pull of connection. They miss you, they wonder if things could be different, and they're curious about whether there's still a chance. On the other hand, they're terrified of getting hurt or trapped in a cycle of emotional intensity that made them withdraw in the first place. Testing is their way of resolving this internal conflict. By sending out small, low-risk signals, they can gauge whether it's safe to come closer without risking rejection or discomfort. These signals are often so subtle that you might not even realize they're happening. A casual "hey" text, a random comment on a mutual friend's post, or even something as seemingly insignificant as viewing your Instagram story, all of these can be ways they test the waters. For avoidance, the goal isn't to manipulate or confuse you. It's about self-preservation. They're asking themselves questions like, have they moved on? Will they react calmly, or will this turn into an emotional storm? And, can I explore this connection without losing control of my own emotions? If they sense that you're overly eager, demanding, or unpredictable, it might confirm their fears and push them further away. On the flip side, if you respond with calmness and consistency, it signals to them that reconnecting might not be as scary as they'd imagined. Avoidants rarely come right out and say, "I miss you," or "I'm thinking about coming back." Instead, their tests are subtle and often indirect. You might notice them suddenly engaging with your social media after weeks of silence, reaching out with a question that seems random or trivial, or even running into you accidentally at a place you both frequent. These gestures might seem confusing or insignificant, but they're often intentional. For example, if they text you out of the blue with something like, "Do you remember the name of that sushi place we went to?" It's not just about sushi. They're trying to gauge your openness and emotional state without risking rejection. If you respond with warmth and neutrality, it gives them the green light to take another step closer. If your response is cold, overly emotional, or filled with hidden expectations, it might make them retreat. Another common test is when they bring up shared memories or inside jokes. This is their way of dipping into the emotional connection you once had without fully committing to a vulnerable conversation. They might say something like, "I heard that song we used to love. It made me think of you." While it's tempting to dive headfirst into a deep discussion about feelings, the best response is often light and positive, showing them that you value the connection without overwhelming them. Here's the tricky part: responding to these tests in a way that keeps the door open while protecting your own emotional health. The first rule is to stay grounded. Avoid overreacting to their gestures, whether positive or negative. If they text you, respond in a way that's warm but neutral. For instance, if they ask a random question, answer it calmly without adding emotional weight to the conversation. It's also crucial to avoid using their tests as an opportunity to push for clarity or closure. Remember, they're testing you because they're unsure. It's not the time to demand answers about where they stand or what their intentions are. Instead, focus on creating an environment of trust and emotional safety. This means showing them that you're stable, secure, and open to connection without putting pressure on them to commit to anything. At the same time, it's important to set boundaries for yourself. While passing their tests can pave the way for reconnection, it shouldn't come at the cost of your own emotional well-being. If their behavior feels confusing or hurtful, take a step back and focus on your own needs. Reconnection should be mutual, not something that leaves you feeling depleted or undervalued. The ultimate goal of navigating these tests is to create a new, healthier dynamic with your avoidant ex. By responding with patience and empathy, you show them that the relationship can be different this time. Over time, these small, positive interactions can build trust and make them feel safe enough to take bigger steps toward reconnection. But remember, this process isn't about winning them back. It's about creating a connection that works for both of you. If you're constantly walking on eggshells or suppressing your own needs to accommodate their fears, the relationship will never truly feel fulfilling. Balance is key. Be patient with their process, but don't lose sight of your own emotional health in the journey. Navigating the emotional tests of an avoidant ex can be challenging, but it's also an opportunity to deepen your understanding of their needs and your own. By responding with empathy, patience, and self-respect, you can create a dynamic that feels safe and supportive for both of you. Remember, these tests aren't about manipulation. They're about self-protection and their way of easing into vulnerability. If you want to go further in understanding avoidant attachment and mastering the strategies needed to reconnect with an avoidant partner, my book, How to Get Your Avoidant Ex Back, is here to guide you. It's packed with practical advice, real-life examples, and in-depth insights into the psychology of avoidant attachment. Whether you're looking to rebuild trust, navigate emotional barriers, or simply understand your ex better, this book offers the tools you need to approach your journey with clarity and confidence. You can find it on Amazon, and I've included a direct link in the description below.